Hi, it's Jill with cricflix. Today's project is going to be finishing up a party, not Candyland the movie, but it is a theme of candy. At first, I thought it was for Candyland, and boy, I started working on it, and I was way off base. It wasn't Candyland. It's actually just candy. Starbursts. I've got Starburst, M&Ms, Cupcake, Nerds, Sour Patch, Skittles. I think got a couple M&Ms. I had done one extra because I did. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm adding some Pop-Tarts and Pop-Tarts. I got my glue gun going here. I've already got that side done. The first thing I'm going to do here is, if you see, these are some Skittles that are out of their wrapping. So what I did is I made, let me flip this over so I can check the colors I had. I had a couple different colors of blue, and I should have left them out. I don't know why I put them all away. Pink, and another pink, and a light yellow. I get these clays on Amazon, and they are not extraordinary by any stretch of the imagination, but they do the job. They dry up. Once they're open and used, they have a tendency to dry up pretty quickly. I can't tell, is that the one I used? Yes, that is the one I used. I want to make sure it gets the same colors. They're inexpensive, you know, so I don't really care. I don't use them enough that if they dry out after a while, my grandkids like to play with them too, if I ever let them, which I rarely do. But anyway, the thing that I do like about them is, number one, they are not overly expensive, and they're very easy to work with. Some of the clays that you get, the clay is very, very, very hard, and you have to do a lot of hand warmth to get it so it's not so hard to work with. And this one you don't. So I have a light blue, and I'm just going to make it into, it actually was, yeah, a front view. And to get the sides, how I want them, or the ends, I'm just going to take my little spatula from my mats for taking my images off my mats, and tap the sides in a little bit so I get it square. Okay, there's one. I'm going to move it over there, and then we're going to do a little bit darker blue, and I try to use the clay whenever I can add some texture. I really like working with it. I like what it does for not all of my pieces, but a lot of them. It's a nice addition. Let's put it that way. And it dries relatively quick. I would say within a couple days, it's pretty dry. It's not something you're going to want to put on if you need it done in a day. You're not going to want to use this on it because it takes a day or two to dry. And when I put it on there, some of them, if I push them down hard enough when I'm working with them, they stick to the paper pretty good. But in this case, the couple didn't. So then what I do is just, I check them when they're dry to see how they are, and I will go back and hot glue the ones that did not stick. I've got a couple of yellow ones on there, and got a little piece of blue in there. I can't remember how many came in this. I want to say like it was over a dozen. It might have been like 20 colors in this particular one. It comes in a little box. But like I said, it's super easy to work with because it's really, really soft and pliable. Easy, easy, easy to work with, which I like. So there's my yellow. And then I'm going to do a light pink and a dark pink. Oops, I missed one of my, it's my light pink. Oh, whoop, whoop. I mean to put that there. See, this one must have been, oh no, I guess it feels the same. Felt like it was kind of dried out. What I do is after I open them, they have paper sealing them. After I open it, I put them and I store them in a sealed plastic bag. Just buys a little bit time on them. Not a ton of time, but it does give me a little bit help with them drying out too fast once they've been opened. It helps. It helps. There's my pink, and I'm going to do my dark pink. And I forgot to do my dark blue, so I'll be going back to that. What I will be doing, I did a video the other day of a vintage Cadillac cars. However, I haven't uploaded it yet because I wanted to wait till I put them all together to do the pictures. And I didn't videotape me doing all of them because that tape, it's 14 of those centerpieces. And I don't think anybody wants to watch me do 14 videos of cars. But I'm trying to think here what's new. We're getting into our fall, winter weather now. And so I saw that my daughters had gotten everything out for Halloween, which isn't even October yet, but pretty soon, next week's last week of September. And our family, by tradition, decorates very, very early on. So I did get out and do my, I usually do massive decorations for the holidays in the fall or the winter, Halloween and, well, Halloween and Christmas. But I'm getting to the point where it's getting to be just too much. So I did a little and made mention to my son, who hasn't got any decorations because his wife just decorates for fall and doesn't decorate actually for Halloween. And I asked him why. He said, well, we're not going to go out and buy them. And I'm like, buy everything else, but I don't know why you'd want to buy Halloween decorations. Anyway, I offered up mine. I said, if you had them, would you use them? If I'm not going to be using them anymore. And then my other daughter-in-law calls me. She says, have you ever gotten rid of any of them? I want them. So I started to fight there. We just had somebody haul away, or my husband and with help of my son-in-law, hauled away our hot tub we'd had for like 25 years and kept getting it fixed. And finally my husband said, enough is enough. And he said, we need a new one. I said, I don't want another one. They're done. And so they hauled that away. And they're coming at 4 o'clock today to pick up my sauna. I said, I don't use that stuff enough. And I'm starting to downsize in all the stuff that I thought I had to have. Because it's just too much. And I don't want to leave that mess to my kids. So they're coming to pick up the sauna, which I just got a couple years ago. In the first year I used it every day. And I feel about my sauna about like I do about a boat. The best day you got it was the day you got it. And the better day was the day you got rid of it. And I'm kind of like that with the sauna. It was fun when it lasted, but I am done with it. So I am very thankful that somebody can put it to use. My grandkids have been using it as a play. I don't know what, just they all get in it and play. And I said, well, that's not what that's made for, so time to go. And emptying out what would have been designated their playroom, but I had have it so full of workout equipment, and I had a treadmill down there, and I had a bike or whatever, a stationary bike down in the playroom, and all of my exercise equipment pretty much, and my sauna, and no room for their things. So their things are all sitting in my family room. So now I'm getting rid of everything. I'm doing my glittering here, if I didn't tell you, and I know I didn't. On the bottom I have glitter. I already did the other side. But anyway, since I go to the club and I'm keeping my rebounder and my free weights, and that's about it, because I going to the club and using all their equipment twice a week. I'm not going to use it here. I'm more disciplined at the club than I am here. It's almost like you feel like you have to finish up. You can't go in there and do one and sit down and take a rest, because you would look pathetic. Just more discipline that way. But I don't know if anybody out there gives a flying, you know, what I'm doing with my stuff. But I just don't have much to say as far as anything going on, because there's just not been a lot going on other than new babies being born. Everybody on one of my videos, I do believe that I've already uploaded, I announced the birth of my 17th grandchild, baby Landon, and he's now a month old, and I cannot believe that in 3 months our 18th grandchild will be here. And I'm thinking most likely that will be the end of it. I do believe they're done, but I'm not gonna. My son actually would like, who's expecting now, him and his wife are expecting in December. I think he would like to have one more. He'd like to have 4. Came from a family of 4, and he'd like to have 4. But he's going to have a willing participant, let's put it that way. And she's thinking, no, 3 is enough. She's a nurse, and she works in the OR in the Children's Hospital here. And she really struggles doing it now, having children, than when she worked in that department when she was childless. Now it's very, very hard, because all these kids coming in that nobody thought there was anything wrong, everything was okay, and you find out it's not. And so she has a hard time with that, and I think she just feels another child would just make that anxiety for her worse. I have 4 kids, and that anxiety never goes away. It's so funny, because all my kids are married and have families now, and I still worry about them just like I did. My Kendall, the one that anybody following me for years and years knows, is my granddaughter that when she was 6 was diagnosed with leukemia. She's going to be 16 October 8th, and driving. She comes to tell me she's got her driver's, her test all scheduled, and she is absolutely beyond excited. But she doesn't know is that my daughter and son-in-law, we're going to give her my daughter's car, and my daughter's going to get a new car, but she works from home and doesn't care what she drives, and she just wants her granddaughter, her daughter, to be safe. So my son is looking for a bigger car, and so they're buying her, I can't think, it's Explorer, and they're not telling her. They're going to wrap it up in a big, or put a big bow on it, and have it sitting in the driveway on her birthday. And I think, oh, you guys are setting precedents for the other 3 when they start driving. I hope you're ready because they bought her a pretty nice car. I think it's a 2018. But my first car was a 1952 Chevy. I remember that. You know, when we were growing up, man, if we even had a friend that had a car. But nowadays, all the kids, seems like anyway, I know they don't all, but they, yeah, my daughter was saying, oh, I remember she got a car for her first birthday, but it was a 1962 Buick Skylark. And it was a sole owner of an elderly man that only drove it to the grocery store. And when he passed his way, his wife didn't know how to drive. And I was going to take my kids to school one day and saw it in the front yard with a sign on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I went and saw the car and not a scratch on it. And I thought this would be a nice, safe car. And it was a good price. It only had like 40,000 miles on it. And at that time, it was 20-some years old. But there was no mileage. It never got driven. It was in immaculate condition. And we got that for her first birthday. Needless to say, I mean, when she was talking to me, she said, oh, yeah, I loved my first car. I drove it everywhere. Well, her memory isn't real good because she didn't love that car. That's an old lady's car. And I said, it's a safe car. If you want anything better, you go out and get it yourself. But with that car, not only did it come with a set of keys, it came with a set of rules. And one of them were hauling her younger siblings around to alleviate some of the pressure of us off who were working full-time, such as going to school, take them to school and bring them home, whatever. That was all part of the deal. Now we'll see. I think my daughter told my granddaughter the same thing, that she's going to have to help transporting siblings. She's got 4 kids, but I don't think my granddaughter will have any objection to that at all. She is good like that. But I'm just rambling here, and I meant to ramble about something coming up. I just got a whole bunch of files that I am going to be making Christmas decorations. But what I'm going to be doing is nutcrackers. I have one of little mice. I mean, they're all different color selections, pastels, Christmas colors, just a whole bunch of different things that I'm going to be doing for Christmas that are going to be sold as a set. Like there'll probably be about 4 pieces in each set, whether it's nutcrackers, and they're all different. Somebody put on their table if they're having, you know, if they're having their Christmas or whatever they're having. And they're just going to be instant, that you don't have to wait for any lead time. I'm going to have them made, and what I have, and I put it all in my shop, and I put a marketplace and wherever. So I'm excited to do that, because some of these files I've been dying to do, and a bunch of files that I have, because I'm going to do some files that aren't necessarily Christmas too, some things that I think are really neat to try and get something very unique for some of these parties, rather than everything always being the same themes. And I want to do something very different. So I've got a few things I got to finish up before I can start. I might start printing, because some of them I can be assembling, and I will film those. But I did nutcrackers last year, and I think from the marketplace here, I can't remember. I can't remember my name, let alone details about anything else. But they were really hot. It had a lot of people that ordered them for the holidays. So that is going to be coming up soon. I'm going to put some she's got those little round, those ponytail holders that have the little round balls on the end in pink, and I'm putting pink rhinestones on them. And I was going to put, I almost started to put glitter on those, and those are not going to have glitter. Those are going to have these pieces here of clay. And the pink one is going to go there. I'm going to let them dry on here. And again, some will dry there because there's moisture in here, and it'll soak through the paper and it'll dry up on here. Some, I better reiterate, some will dry on there. It doesn't always work. I always have to test them, and I do test them real good to make sure that they stick. Okay, this one was a little bit on the bend, so I know what I did. It was kind of turned sideways so you could see a little bit of the crease. So I'm going to do that in here like that and like that. Just a little tiny bit. And we have a yellow one down here. I just glittered that, so I have to be very, very careful here. Don't want to put that on top of the glitter. And my two little blue ones. There we go. And one more blue one. And a yellow one. There we go. Okay. She's all done. Oh, a stone fell off. I better get a new stone. Oh, it's right here. It makes me nervous. Let me see. It's sticky. I must not have stuck it on there good. There we go. So let me see. I'm going to put her up on one of her little bases. And I'll just show you the other ones that go with this theme. For pretty much are already done. If I would have done all the decorating on video, it would have taken a while. This is an extra one that I was trying to do one with M&Ms because all I had was the message that M&Ms with the little M&M guy, so I did it. But with this picture, but wasn't one that she found one that she liked better. So since I'd already printed this out and I don't want to just throw it away, and it is of this little girl, I am going to send it along. What I did on this one is I put a little of the puff paint or the liquid pearls on the M&Ms on this side and just glittering. And I took markers and outlined the hearts on her skirt because they were very, very faded. So I used a special marker to color those in a little bit, and I darkened the Minnie Mouse, and I put a little white so that you could tell it was her eye on her t-shirt. And then I did the cotton candy one, which I have to finish up this one. So I will go ahead and do that. I forgot. What I did is I used colored cotton balls to make the cotton candy and glitter around the arms. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to do the cotton candy portion. I thought I was all done. I'm not. I went on to Amazon, of course. It's always Amazon. And got some colored cotton balls to add for my cotton candy. And I'm not going to fill the whole thing in. Just some. Whoops. So, there wasn't any yellow in the main one, but there was yellow down here. So we're gonna put some yellow in here and in here, and then we've got quite a bit of pink. Then after I put all the cotton candy in, I went back and glittered the darker areas on this image. But I did that after I put the cotton candy on. Why I did it after really doesn't have a, yeah, it does have a reason, because there's going to be covering a lot of it up, so I didn't want to put it on where it wasn't necessary. Oh, here's my sticks. Thought I lost them. Also, the cotton candy card here, the sticks, this didn't print out bright and vibrant. It was kind of the pixelation, or the DPI on this image was not the best. However, it wasn't horrible either. It was pretty easy to clean up. So I did it with glitter and some sticks. I'll show you where I'm going to put the sticks. And my last video, or I don't know how many videos ago, I just thought of it now, as I had mentioned that my father had fallen down, broken his hip. Then he got a horrible, horrible infection in his leg that put back in the hospital again. And he's home now. However, a little concerning, because he is going to be 97 in December. And my dad has always been extremely avid hunter, golfer, fisher, everything, and got around like nothing. I mean, he did awesome. However, now that he's lost a lot of his muscle, not a lot, all of his muscle, from being sedentary for all this time since he broke his hip, which was like 6 weeks ago, he has no muscle tone left. And once this starts to happen, it seems like one thing after another happens. Then when he got home, my brother called to tell me that he'd fallen again. He's using a walker, and he fell, but when he fell, he scraped his arm on the chair he was sitting on and scraped all the skin off. So now he had his arm all wrapped. I'm hoping that doesn't get an infection. Yeah, it's just, you know, not good. And I had read something, and I said, that's just crazy. I've never heard of such a thing. But now I'm watching it happen second time around. I had read something that says anybody over the age of 65 that falls, usually, this sounds so morbid and horrible, and I hate to even say it out loud, but their lifespan is usually shortened to about 5 years, because after the age of 65, which I don't think is all cases, I think that's kind of generalization, but they aren't as physically active and don't have the muscle that you need that helps to take care of your body. So anyway, again, not to be morbid on that, but when my brother called and said he'd fallen again, I thought, he's not going to get his strength back that he needs for just living. His wife, which is my stepmom, is 82. But then we just went to Colorado to see my sister-in-law, and she's got 30% of her lung capacity. She's got a lung hardening of the lungs, but I can't remember what the actual name of the disease is. So she's on oxygen 100%. So in her apartment, they moved her to live close by where my two nieces live, because if anything happens, they're 5 minutes away instead of half an hour. So they moved her into an apartment down the street, or 5 minutes down the road. And when I went there to visit in August for the wedding, I said, my God, I asked her, I said, how do you not trip on all this cable? There's 100 and some feet of cable from her oxygen tubing, running all over the house, all over her apartment. And I said, how do you not trip on that? That seems absurd. And sure enough, she tripped and fell last week, and she's now in the hospital. They're moving her to rehab, which they might have already, but she has to be put in a home for rehab for at least a couple weeks. But I'm feeling like this is it. She's not going to be able to live alone anymore, because she was already extremely weak with her lack of oxygen. And now for her to be back where she can take care of herself and live on her own. She wasn't even going to go to the hospital because she's very, very, very stubborn. And they ended up calling the paramedics. What did you do with my cotton, guys? Oh, there it is. They ended up calling the paramedics when she wouldn't go and couldn't move to even get up, go to the bathroom or anything. So they finally made her go. They weren't going to listen to her anymore, and they made her go in, and that was when they found out she'd broken her pelvis. So as you get older, it seems like every time you pick up the phone, something is happening with somebody. I guess that's the circle of life, right? Okay, I got the cotton everywhere but on the cart. Oh my, sorry. Why didn't somebody scream and tell me? I didn't glue it on the cart. You're supposed to be watching out for me. And someone asked me about when I was going to be starting my videos on my Instagram. As soon as it isn't something that I have to get all ready and plan and do. It's something I can pick it up and do it tomorrow if I wanted to. It's that I've still just been really busy trying to get some things done around here. And I've been busy with orders lately. But I am going to do it if I feel like I have anything of value to say, which usually I don't. But there are a lot of you out there that just like to have someone to talk to, like me. I told my husband, he says, you know, somebody comes over and there's always like, you know, he's always waving at me to just don't say anything. But I told him, I said, it's because I've been around kids, taking care of grandkids for 15 years now, and I miss speaking with adults. Okay, I've got some of my little stir sticks here that I have painted pink, and I'm going to use those on the poles right here on the cart, because they're a little fadey and weak, and I think a good addition to this is these sticks. These are stir sticks that I get on Amazon. They're great to use for reinforcing anything, because they're real thin, but they're strong enough to reinforce, like when you're making a centerpiece where you have a weak area. They work really great. I think I'm going to put a piece of, we'll grab this one. Just a little piece in the top here, so it doesn't look like it's just sticking on the outside of the cart. I'm noticing that I'm not stuttering, but having a hard time doing two things at once here when I'm talking. That day was soon to come. We just had our assessment last week with Humana, and when they come in to assess your health, they just want to keep it Medicare in the loop, you know, whether it's time to call in hospice or not, I guess. I don't know why, but because I go to the doctor, I don't know why they have to come in, but they do. And as you get older, one of the things the doctor asks you is, it gives you 3 words when he starts talking to you and doing everything he does to check your health. And then he will ask you, he'll get to a time where he's going to ask you, what were the 3 words he gave you? And since I am so paranoid and terrified of Alzheimer's, because my mother or dementia, all the same thing, that it makes me so nervous when they ask for those 3 words, because I keep thinking, I'm not going to remember those 3 words. So when my husband was all done, and the guy said, okay, it was my turn now, and I looked at him, and I said, okay, but he took my blood pressure. Before he asked me about the words, he took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure is a little high. And I said, that's because you got me all worked up, because you're going to ask me to memorize and remember 3 words, and I'm not going to be able to remember the 3 words because you're asking me. It's like taking the test when I was in high school. Don't ever pressure me. If you ask me, I'm not going to know. I'm not going to know. And I said, I repeated my husband's 3 words, and I said, I still know what his words, you know, and I told him what they were, and he was laughing, and he just said, I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to give you 3 words. And I think that the reason he didn't ask me the 3 words was because I still remembered my husband's. He probably figured if she can still remember his, she's going to remember hers. I don't know, but he didn't ask me for my 3 words. But when they give you the words, I associate them with something so that I can remember. And so I did with his, and it sounded like Pandora at the end. I do remember Dora was one of them. But I do a word association with it so I can remember. But I didn't have to remember, guys. I got off because I used my husband's. Okay, now I got the sticks on there. Again, because this is not an image that I would say, wow, that is absolutely perfect resolution. When I'm done glittering it, it will be. On this, I didn't flip the Nova's cotton candy cart around. I can't remember. There was a reason why I didn't. Instead of doing that, I cut the sign out separate, and I'm just going to put it right on here. And Nova's candy, cotton candy, Nova's cotton candy. I'm just going to put that over so you could still read it, because one thing that's really hard is when you have double-sided images, when you flip them and there's any writing. For instance, on her t-shirt, it says, "We got game." If I flip it, it's backwards on the other side, but to cut it out around the t-shirt and flip it, it doesn't line up, number one. And if there's a lot of wrinkles and a lot of movement in the fabric on that, whatever it is that you're going to flip, you have to be very innovative to cover it. So I don't always, simply because I can't. Sometimes it's just too hard. But I just put this on there. I've got to finish it up with glittering, and then that one will be done. I'm going to move that over here. I don't have anything left to do on that one. Okay, I know one thing I had to do. I know. Oops. And I might as well do it. I'll go back to finish that glittering. I did the M&M one here, and which one had the face that, where is she? Where'd she go? Here's one. That's not the face. This is the face. That I went and I put glossy on it. And after I saw the glossy, I did not like it. It looked very, didn't like it. I don't know what it looked very. So I cut out just her face to put it on right over this, and then I will fix it with a little bit of glitter. So rather than redo the whole piece, I was able to do just the head, and I had the outline like from the t-shirt. I had a cut line where when I added the head, you couldn't tell. You can't tell. Once I get it glittered, you cannot tell that I've added a new head on. And I cut it out for both sides, but I don't need the other side because I did not do the other side. I only did this side. It's the other side that was done. So, but this is a little rough here, so I'm going to cut it off. I don't think I did an offset big enough on that. There we go. And then I can fix the glossy. There isn't any glossy. And I had that on another one. No, the other one wasn't that. The other one was, those were not clear. on the M&M one. The images were not clear, so I tried to do them, and after I got them done, I did not like them, and I said I'd rather they were not clear. So I cut the images out, and what I'm going to do on these is I'm going to pop dot them, because they're going to be standing out from the M&Ms. And let me get this out of here. I was just trying, because sometimes if the resolution isn't really good in the picture, I try to figure out different ways I can fix it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And this time it did not. So I just went back and cut her out. I couldn't break her apart like I normally would. Just when I build it, if I ungroup it, I can just take out of there what I want. However, the person that this is for sent me the image, so I didn't have it in the PNG form, and I didn't have it like I would have made it. So I had to use my software knife and cut it out. But again, I did not like the way my attempt to make this look crisper. Didn't like the way it was going. And this isn't a big image. This would have never been able to make it as a big one because the resolution is not the best. And again, I couldn't change it because I didn't build it. Put 100 pop dots on here, guys, thinking maybe that'll hold. Did I give you anything useless today? No, probably not. Probably not. Okay, line that up and line it up there, and there we go. And then she just kind of sticks out on the image, so that's not flat, which works perfect on this because she's been added to the cart. I'll do the flip side here. You know what? I showed you enough here. I will take pictures, and yeah, there's a couple extra in here that I didn't want to just throw away. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. And hopefully everything is working on my end. After I rebuilt my computers, they've been working great. So hopefully I will be able to get back at doing videos with things working now. But everybody have a great week. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. I just hit my workout button. I am so used to hitting my workout button when I look at my watch. I just started a workout. I didn't want that. I wanted my camera. I'm heading over to do my workout, though. There we go. Have a good week.